Hey there, welcome to another session on math problem solving. This is Bharat Divyang from Zugzwang Academy. And today we'll be looking at clocks and the math behind it. Now, if you've observed clocks being displayed in showrooms or watches being displayed in any of the places you typically see new watches, you would always see that the time is 10:10. It's 10:10, so it's the hour hand somewhere here and the minute hand somewhere here. What is the reason behind it? Have you ever wondered about it? Well, there are a couple of reasons. In fact, I've shown you two of the pics which I was able to search in the Google image search to just show you that this is typically the case. The couple of reasons why this happens, I think one is I think this is the time where you can see all the subdials very clearly. But that in itself is not true because even 11.5 would ensure that you can see the subdials. The other reason is that it looks like a smiley face. And whenever you have all these different multiple reasons why something is being done, you often do a psychological test to see if that's true. And in fact, they did do a psychological test about checking if the smiley face works, and apparently it does. It's more a marketing ploy where people look at the two hands of the watch or the clock, and apparently it brings in some kind of a happy feeling because they're seeing a smiling face, and maybe they make the decision to buy or purchase the watch. Well, that's the reason behind it. There's also other reasons such as symmetry. Apparently, there's a symmetry which the human mind is designed to see. The symmetry is that the angle made on the left is the same as the angle made on the right. Roughly, that's the case. But in fact, let's do the math behind it and let's think about what is the angle between the hour hand and the minute hand when the time is 10:10. Okay, so that's the problem we're going to try to solve today. What is the angle between the hour and the minute hand when it is 10:10? If you'd like to give it a shot, please pause the video and try and solve this problem. I hope you were able to do that. You were able to try and solve the problem. If not, let's look at it. It looks symmetrical, and the first and foremost thing that you need to think about is the angle between any two numbers on a clock. How much is this? Now the clock has 12 divisions. The angle around a circle is 360 degrees, which means each of those divisions is going to be 30 degrees. Okay, so given you have from 10 till 12, that's two divisions, making it 60 degrees. And 12 to 2 is another two divisions, which means that's another 60 degrees. So the angle made between them should be 120. Is that right? Actually, it's not, because while the minute hand definitely inscribes 60 degrees, the hour hand does a little less than 60 degrees. How do you find out how much? Now think about this. The hour hand in an hour, in 60 minutes, is going to go from 10 to 11, which means in 60 minutes, it's going to do 30 degrees. So if that's the case, then in 1 minute, the hour hand is going to inscribe 30 by 60 or half a degree. So in 10 minutes, that's going to be 5 degrees. Right? So there's a 5-degree shift. 1/6 of the 30, a 5-degree shift from its 60 degrees, which means it's only 55 degrees. So the hour hand to 12 is 55 degrees, and the minute hand is 60 degrees. Together, the total angle is not 120, it's in fact 115. So that's the angle between the 10 and the 2, the 10 being the hour hand and 2 being the minute hand. It's 115 degrees. And is that symmetrical? Actually, no, because the left side is going to be 55 degrees and the right side is going to be 60 degrees. So it's not symmetrical, it's almost symmetrical. So now let's come back to the question of, is there a particular time when the angles are equal? As in the angle between 10 and 12, the hour hand and 12 is equal to the hour hand, the 12 and the minute hand. So let's assume that that actually happens when it's t minutes, right? T minutes later, you would have the angle to be equal, which means the angle by the minute hand is going to be t, that's the total amount of minutes, times for every minute, right? See, 360 degrees divided, or 360 degrees in 60 minutes, which means 1 minute is going to be 360 by 60, which is 6 degrees. So every minute, the minute hand is going to inscribe 6 degrees. That's the reason when 10 minutes happens, it's 60 degrees. 6 degrees is what happens in t minutes, t times 6 degrees. And this is going to be equivalent to 60 degrees on the left minus half of t. So that's an algebraic equation. So this is the angle inscribed by the hour hand, and this is the angle inscribed by the minute hand. So the math will ensure that you have 60 on the left hand side, and you would have 60 plus half a t. And that is nothing but 13 by 2t, 6.5, which means t is 120 by 13. And 120 by 13 in a mixed form is going to be 9 minutes. So 9 times 13 is 117, 3 by 13. So when the time is 9 minutes 3 by 13, so little less than 9.5, little more than 9, you would see the time at 9 minutes 3/13 past 10, when the angles are absolutely symmetric. And in fact, if you pay attention to some of the high-end watches, like the one shown here, the time is not exactly 10:10, it is a little less than 10 minutes, where they try and get it as symmetric as possible. I hope you enjoyed this video and you found it insightful. If so, please do like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much.